In the last lesson, we designed our database schema, ran code generation, applied the migration, and seeded 90 rows of real analytics data. So in this lesson, we build the business logic there, the queries and computations that turn the raw data rows, into the meaningful numbers the dashboard actually needs to display. So we'll write this as proper Serverpod endpoint so that the web server routes can call the exact same logic, no duplication. Great. So before we write any code, as usual, let me clarify something that a lot of us new to Serverpod. So the difference between endpoints and web routes, and why we are writing endpoints in this lesson when we already have web routes. So a web route, the root classes that we built in lesson 3 and 4, is an HTTP handler. It lives in the web server. It speaks raw HTTP. It reads and writes JSON manually. So it is designed for anything that communicates over plain HTTP, browsers, third-party services, REST API, consumers, okay? Then on a server endpoint, the kind we write in this lesson is a DAT method that gets exposed over Serverpod's own RPC protocol. So RPC means remote procedural call. Your Flutter app calls it, the Flutter package that already exists in the Serverpod project. It is using the auto-generated client as if it were a regular DAT function call. That's basically what RPC means. So no JSON encoding or decoding, no HTTP verbs or URL construction. It's just calling the client package dot the method, the model that you designed dot the method inside that model. Great. So here's a key insight. You can call endpoint methods directly from inside web routes. So the pattern we're building is endpoints hold all the business logic and database queries, and web routes call those endpoints to get their data and then format the response as JSON for HTTP clients. Make sense? So this means that the web dashboard will share the same underlying logic with your Flutter app in case you decide to design it. So the same queries, the same calculations and validations. So Serverpod endpoints live in the folder, the directory lib, src, the source folder, and inside it we have, or you'd create a folder called endpoints inside the server package. So every endpoint class extends the endpoint, and every method you want to expose must be public, async, and also must have the session parameter as the first parameter, okay? The session object as the first parameter, in short. So here is we're going to create a DAT file called AnalyticsEndpoint, which will hold our endpoint or our business logic. So our class will be called AnalyticsEndpoint, and it will extend the endpoint class. We're going to have a number of functions here. We'll have the getAppSummaries, which returns a summary of all tracked apps with their most recent day's metrics. Then we'll also have the getMetricsForApp, which returns the metric rows for one specific app over a date range. Then we'll also have a function called getDashboardTotals, which returns aggregated tools across all apps for the overview cards. And basically, those are the three. So if you look inside here, they actually interact with the respective models that we need. In our getAppSummaries, we're interacting with the app metric model over here, and we're finding what we need to find. And then we're passing it and returning it into a variable called summaries, which is of type app summary. We'll get to create that. Then also in the getMetricsForApp, we're communicating with the app metric model and finding the specific metrics for a specific app ID. Then in the getDashboardTotals, we're also communicating with the app metric model, and we're doing some checks and conditioning here. And then we get to return with the type dashboard totals, which we're going to design. So those two, dashboard totals and app summary, are two classes that we'll define next. Great. So let's define these models that I've mentioned. So notice that they are not data-backed models. These are not models we designed previously, right? These are going to be response objects, just plain data containers that carry computed results back to the caller. So they will still be defined the way we are defining Serverpod models, but they're not going to have the key or the key called tables. They're not going to be tables, okay? So all they're going to be serialized like for the Flutter client. So here's our model. Our model is called app summary. App summary will have a number of fields: app ID of type int, app name of type string, the platform of type string, latest, daily active users of type int, latest crash rate of type double, latest session count of type int, and last updated of type date time. So notice there's no table field here. Without table, Serverpod generates a pure dot serializable class. So it's not a database table. It's just a model that can be passed between the server and the Flutter client over the RPC protocol. Great. Now we need to create our other model, which is the dashboard totals. So we'll have our class called dashboard totals, and our field will be total daily active users of type int, total sessions of type int, average crash rate of type double, and tracked apps of type int. Same pattern, no table, pure response object. Now let's proceed to, once we proceed to save our models to be able to generate our code, and Serverpod will pick up from there and generate the dark classes for both the response model. Great. Now when it comes to registering the endpoint, Serverpod discovers them automatically through the generated endpoint class and gets passed into the Serverpod constructor. Now let's try and call our endpoints from web roots. Now here is where the architecture really pays off. So we'll update our web roots to call the endpoint methods instead of querying the database directly from the web roots. This means all the query logic lives in one place, the endpoint, and the web root just handles the HTTP formatting. So back to our apps module. Remember what we did previously? Now we're going to switch it up and now call the endpoints themselves. So for our list method, we're going to communicate or call the endpoint AnalyticsEndpoint. And when it comes to the summary method, we're going to call the AnalyticsEndpoint as well to return the dashboard totals. And then we're going to have our metrics method calling the AnalyticsEndpoint as well to return the metric history for one app using the getMetricsForApp. So they all have their respective methods to call from the AnalyticsEndpoint. Great. Now let's restart the server and test each root. Make sure that thanks to that form, you can actually check if your Docker is running. We can still make sure that Docker is running manually. Then let's test our app summaries list. So to do that, we just call our curl terminal. Then we should get a JSON array with 3 apps, each showing the latest daily active users, crash rate, and session count pulled from the most recent metric row in the database. Let's test the dashboard totals. We'll run our curl command, and we should get the aggregated numbers, total daily active users across all apps for the last 30 days, the total sessions, average crash rate, and count of tracked apps as we defined. Then let's test the metrics history for app 1. So we get 7 rows of metric data for app 1, 1 per day, ordered chronologically with dates and daily active users, session counts, durations, and crash rates as we defined earlier. So all 3 of these are now backed by real database queries running through Serverpod's ORM with properly structured business logic that the Flutter app can also access through the generated client. Great. So let's just recap the lesson. We understood the distinction between endpoints and web roots, right? Endpoints hold the business logic, web roots handle the HTTP formatting. And web roots can call endpoints directly using the session. We created the AnalyticsEndpoint class with 3 methods: getAppSummaries for the overview list, getMetricsForApp for the time series chart data, and getDashboardTotals for the aggregated stats cards. We defined 2 response models, AppSummary and DashboardTotals, as YAML classes without a table, making them pure serializable data carriers. Then we updated our web roots to call the endpoint methods, centralizing all query logic in one place. And we also tested all 3 API endpoints with curl and confirmed real data flowing from PostgreSQL. So in lesson 7, we saw building the Flutter web dashboard itself, the UI that will call these endpoints and display the analytics data visually. See you there.